Dr. Hana Kim walked through the cold metal halls of Station Omega-7. Her footsteps echoed in the empty corridor. Each step brought her closer to what many called certain death. The station floated in deep space, far from any planet or star. It was built for one purpose only, to hold the galaxy's most dangerous creatures. Today, Hana would meet the most dangerous of them all. Commander Kyung waited for her at the security checkpoint. His blue skin looked pale under the harsh lights. The Vorthak warrior had fought in 100 battles, but even he seemed nervous today. "Dr. Kim," he said with a stiff nod, "are you sure about this? 17 specialists have tried before you. 3 died. The others?" He shook his head. "The others wish they had died." Hana adjusted her lab coat and checked her tablet. "I've read all their reports, Commander. I know the risks." "Do you?" Commander Kyung stepped closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Have you ever seen a Lione kill?" "I have. They don't just tear you apart, they make it last, they enjoy it." "I'm not here to fight it," Hana replied. "I'm here to understand it." Commander Kyung laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Understand? Doctor, you cannot understand a force of nature. You cannot reason with a hurricane or negotiate with an earthquake. The Lione is pure destruction." They walked deeper into the station. The walls grew thicker. The security doors became heavier. Warning signs appeared in 12 different languages. All said the same thing. Extreme danger, authorized personnel only. Diplomat Bora joined them at the final checkpoint. The Nexari was tall and thin, with silver skin that seemed to glow. Her 4 eyes blinked in sequence as she spoke. "Dr. Kim, the Galactic Council is watching this project closely. Very closely. The war with the Void Reapers is not going well. We need weapons. Strong weapons. The Lion could be our answer. If it can be controlled," Commander Kyung added. "When it can be controlled," Bora corrected him. "Doctor, you have 1 month. No more. If you fail, we execute the creature and try." "With a fresh specimen?" Hana nodded. She had known this from the beginning. 1 month to do what no one else could do. 1 month to tame something that could not be tamed. They reached the observation deck. Through the thick glass, Hana saw the containment cell. It was huge, 50 meters wide and 30 meters tall. The walls were made of pure titanium, reinforced with energy fields. Blue light crackled along the edges where the quantum restraints held their target. And there, in the center of it all, was the Lione. Hana had seen pictures, but they had not prepared her for the real thing. Taiho stood 3 meters tall, even, while chained. His body was covered in golden fur that seemed to glow with its own light. Massive muscles moved under his skin like steel cables. His hands ended in claws as long as kitchen knives. But it was his eyes that made Hana step back. They burned like twin suns, filled with such hate and fury that she felt it through the thick walls. When he looked at her, she felt like prey being studied by a predator. "Beautiful, isn't he?" Bora said softly. "And deadly beyond measure." His species once ruled 3 star systems. They hunted other intelligent races for sport. It took the combined might of the entire galaxy to bring them down. "How long has he been here?" Hana asked. 47 years, Commander Kyung replied. "Captured during the last Lione War. He was their greatest warrior, their king, some say." Hana watched as Taiho moved. Even chained, even trapped, he moved, with deadly grace. The quantum restraints held his arms and legs, but his head turned to follow her movements. Always watching, always calculating. "The previous specialist tried everything," Bora continued. "Neural conditioning to break his mind, chemical treatments to make him docile, pain amplifiers to force submission. Nothing worked. He either broke free and killed his handlers, or he simply stopped eating until he nearly died." "But he never actually died," Hana observed. "No, we think he stays alive out of spite. He knows that if he dies, we'll just capture another Lione, so he lives to deny us what we want." Hana stepped closer to the glass. Taiho's eyes locked onto hers. For a moment, neither moved. Then slowly, The Lione bared his teeth. They were like white daggers, sharp enough to cut through steel. "He's trying to frighten you," Commander Kyung said. "I know." But Hana didn't look away. "Tell me about his capture. How did it happen?" Bora pulled up a holographic display. It showed a battle scene, ships burning in space, explosions lighting up the darkness. The final battle of the Lione War. Taiho's fleet was surrounded. He could have escaped, but he chose to fight. He watched his entire species die around him. When we finally took his ship, he was the only one left alive. "He chose to fight instead of run," Hana repeated. "Why?" "Because Liones don't surrender," Commander Kyung said. "They don't know how. It's not in their nature." Hana made notes on her tablet. "What do we know about their culture? Their beliefs?" The two aliens looked at each other. "They're predators," Bora said finally. "What more do you need to know?" "Everything." Hana turned back to watch Taiho. "If I'm going to succeed where others failed, I need to understand what makes him different. What makes his species unique." "Dr. Kim," Commander Kyung's voice was serious. "I've seen many brave soldiers die because they thought they could understand their enemy. Don't make that mistake. The Lion is not like us. He doesn't think like us. He doesn't feel like us. He is a killer, pure and simple." As if hearing these words, Taiho suddenly roared. The sound shook the observation deck. It was a sound of rage and defiance that seemed to come from the very depths of his soul. The quantum restraint sparked and flared as his massive body strained against them. "You see," Bora said, 47 years of captivity and his spirit is still unbroken. That's what makes them so dangerous. That's what makes them so valuable." Hana watched as Taiho slowly calmed down. His breathing returned to normal, but his eyes never lost their fire. She realized something that the others had missed. Something important. "He's not just angry," she said quietly. "He's grieving." "What?" Commander Kyung frowned. "Look at him. Really look." Yes, there's rage there. But underneath it, he's mourning. He's the last of his kind. Everyone he ever knew is dead. Everything he ever cared about is gone. That's not just anger in his eyes. That's pain. Bora's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Pain can be used, pain can be controlled. "No," Hana said firmly. "That's been the problem. Everyone has tried to use his pain against him. That's why they all failed." She gathered her things and headed for the door. "I want to meet with him tomorrow, face to face." "Absolutely not." Commander Kyung stepped in front of her. "Too dangerous. I'll use the security protocols. Maximum barriers. But I need to see him up close. I need to talk to him." "Talk? To him?" Bora laughed. "Doctor, he hasn't spoken a word to anyone in 20 years. He just roars and tries to kill whoever gets too close." "Then maybe," Hana said as she walked away. "No one has given him a good reason to talk." As the door closed behind her, neither alien saw the small smile on her face. She had a plan. It was dangerous, maybe even crazy. But it was also something that had never been tried before. Tomorrow she would do something unprecedented. Tomorrow she would try to give the Lion something that no one had ever offered him, a choice. The next morning, Hana stood outside the containment cell. Her heart beat fast as she looked through the thick barrier at Taiho. The Lion warrior sat in the center of his prison, perfectly still. His golden eyes watched her every move. Security. Chief Minho checked the barriers one more time. "All systems are active, Dr. Kim. Energy shields at maximum. Emergency gas ready to deploy. If he even twitches wrong, we can flood the cell in 2 seconds." "I understand," Hana said. She carried only a simple chair and her tablet. "But I don't think we'll need any of that." Commander Kyung's voice came through the speaker. "Dr. Kim, this is madness. You're putting yourself in incredible danger for no reason." Hana ignored him. She activated the communication system and spoke directly to Taiho. "Hello, my name is Hana Kim. I'm here to talk with you." The Lione didn't move, didn't blink. He just stared at her with those burning eyes. "I know you can understand me. Hana, continued. Your species learned our languages long ago. The question is whether you want to talk back. Still nothing. Hana set up her chair just outside the barrier. She sat down and opened her tablet. That's okay. I have time. I can wait. For the next hour, she simply sat there. She read reports, made notes, and occasionally looked up at Taiho. The massive warrior never moved from his position. It was like watching a statue made of gold and fury. This is pointless, Commander Kyung said through the speaker. He hasn't spoken to anyone in decades. Maybe no one gave him anything worth saying, Hana replied quietly. As the second hour began, Hana decided to try something different. She put down her tablet and looked directly at Taeho. I've been reading about your people, she said. About the Lione civilization. Did you know that most of the galaxy thinks you were just mindless predators? For the first time, Taiho's eyes seemed to focus more sharply on her. But that's not true, is it? Hana continued. Your people had cities, art, music, poetry. You had families and friends and dreams. You weren't just killers, you were people. Taiho's massive hands slowly clenched into fists. The reports say your people believed in honor above all else. That a warrior's greatest shame was to die without purpose, is that true? The lion's breathing grew deeper, but he still didn't speak. Hana leaned forward slightly. My species has warriors too. Humans who fight not because they have to, but because they choose to. Because they believe in something worth protecting. What did you choose to protect, Taiho? This time, the reaction was immediate. Taiho's head snapped up, his eyes blazing with new intensity. His lips pulled back to show those terrible teeth. Yes, Hana said softly. That's it, isn't it? You chose to protect something, or someone. That's why you stayed and fought when you could have run. Security Chief Minho stepped forward. Dr. Kim, his heart rate is increasing. Brain activity is spiking. Maybe you should step back. No, Hana said firmly. This is progress. She stood up and moved closer to the barrier. What was her name? Taeho suddenly roared, a sound of such pain and rage that it shook the entire observation deck. The quantum restraints flared as he strained against them. But instead of backing away, Hana stepped even closer. I'm sorry, she said, her voice gentle. I'm sorry for your loss. The roaring stopped. Taiho stared at her, breathing heavily. For a moment his expression seemed almost confused. You lost someone important in that final battle, didn't you? Hana asked. Someone you were trying to protect. That's why you couldn't run. That's why you chose to fight until the end. Slowly, very slowly, Taiho's breathing began to calm. His eyes never left Hana's face. My species understands loss too, Hana said. We understand what it means to fight for something precious, to lose everything you care about, to be the only one left. She sat back down in her chair. Would you like me to tell you about Earth? About my people? Taiho didn't respond, but he didn't look away either. Hana began to speak about her home world. She told him about the blue oceans and green forests, about cities that reached toward the stars, about families gathering for meals and children playing in parks. We're not the strongest species in the galaxy, she said. We're not the smartest or the fastest, but we have something that makes us different. We believe that everyone deserves a choice, even our enemies, even those who have hurt us. Hours passed. Hana talked about human history, human culture, human dreams. She spoke about warriors who chose to protect the weak, about leaders who chose to serve rather than rule, about ordinary people who chose to do extraordinary things. Taiho listened to every word. As the day ended, Hana stood to leave. I'll come back tomorrow, she said, if you want me to. She had almost reached the door when a voice stopped her. It was deep and rough, like stones grinding together. It was the first time anyone had heard a Lione speak in 20 years. Why? Hana turned back slowly. Taiho was looking directly at her now, his golden eyes burning with something other than rage. Why what? She asked gently. Why do you speak of Choice? I am your prisoner. Your weapon. I have no choices. The words sent chills through everyone listening. Commander Kyung and Diplomat Bora exchanged shocked looks in the observation room. Hana walked back to the barrier. What if I told you that you do have choices? Small ones, maybe, but real ones. Taiho's eyes narrowed. What choices does a caged beast have? The choice to speak or stay silent. The choice to listen or ignore. The choice to learn or remain closed. Hana paused. The choice to trust or to hate. Trust? The word came out like a growl. Your people destroyed my world, killed my family, caged me like an animal. Why would I ever trust you? Because, Hana said quietly, I'm not asking you to trust my people. I'm asking you to trust me. Just me. And only if you choose to. Taiho stared at her for a long moment. What is your name again? Hana Kim. Hana, he repeated, testing the sound. In my language there is a word that sounds similar. Hanak. It means hope where none should exist. Is that good or bad? Hana asked. For the first time in 47 years, something that might have been a smile crossed Taiho's face. It was small and sad, but it was real. I have not decided yet. That night, Hana sat in her quarters writing her report, but instead of clinical observations, she found herself writing about a conversation. A real conversation with someone who had been alone for longer than she could imagine. Tomorrow she would offer him something no one ever had. Tomorrow she would offer him his first real choice in nearly half a century. The question was whether he would take it. 3 weeks had passed since Taiho first spoke. Every day Hana came to his cell. Every day they talked a little more. She learned that his real name was Do-hyun, which meant virtuous and bright in the old Lione tongue. Taiho was just his name given to him when he became a warrior. Why did you never tell anyone your real name? Hana asked one morning. Do-hyun sat in his usual position, still chained but somehow less threatening than before. Would it have mattered? Your people see only the monster, the weapon. They do not see the person beneath. I see the person, Hana said quietly. Yes. Do-hyun nodded slowly. You are different, Hana Kim. You ask questions that others fear to ask. Their conversations had grown deeper each day. Do-hyun told her about Lione culture, about their belief that strength came from protecting others, not dominating them. He spoke of their poetry, their music, their deep connection to the stars. In return, Hana shared more about humanity. She told him how humans had once been divided, fighting endless wars. But they learned to work together, to choose cooperation over conquest. Choice, Do-hyun said, tasting the word. You speak of it often, but what choice have I ever had? I was born a warrior, trained to fight, forced to kill, captured and caged. Where in all of this was choice? Maybe, Hana said carefully. Choice isn't always about big things. Maybe it starts with small things. Commander Kyung was growing impatient. He visited Hana's office that afternoon, his blue face darker than usual. Dr. Kim, the council is asking questions. You've made no progress toward making the creature compliant. All you do is talk to it. His name is Do-hyun, Hana corrected. And I am making progress. He trusts me now. Trust is not compliance. We need a weapon, not a friend. Diplomat Bora nodded in agreement. The war situation is getting worse. 3 more colonies have fallen to the Void Reapers. We need the Lion combat ready within the week. 1 week? Hana stood up from her desk. That's impossible. You can't rush this kind of breakthrough. Then perhaps we should try a different approach, Commander Kyung said coldly. Chemical conditioning, neural implants. We could have him ready in days. You've tried that before, it doesn't work. Because the previous specialists were too gentle, Bora replied. But there are stronger methods, more permanent ones. Hana felt ice in her stomach. You're talking about brain surgery, about destroying who he is. If that's what it takes, Commander Kyung said, The creature is too valuable to waste on failed experiments. Give me more time, please. I'm close to a breakthrough. Bora's 4 eyes blinked slowly. You have 3 days, Dr. Kim, no more. If you cannot produce results, we will proceed with surgical options. That night, Hana sat in her quarters staring at the wall. 3 days. How could she explain to Do-hyun that his time was running out? That in 3 days they would turn him into the very thing he had fought against becoming for 47 years? She made a decision that would either save them both or destroy everything. The next morning, Hana entered the containment area carrying something she had never brought before, a maintenance toolkit. Security Chief Minho looked confused. Dr. Kim, what's that for? System maintenance, she said calmly. Some of the restraint controls need adjustment. It was a lie, but Minho didn't question it. Hana had earned everyone's trust over the past weeks. Do-hyun looked up as she entered the observation area. You seem different today, Hana Kim. Troubled. I need to tell you something, she said. The council is losing patience. They want to perform surgery on your brain, to make you obedient. Do-hyun's eyes flashed with the old fire. When? In 2 days, if I cannot show them progress. The lion warrior was quiet for a long moment. And what progress would satisfy them? They want compliance, obedience. They want you to follow orders without question. Ah. Do-hyun's voice was bitter. They want to kill the person and keep the weapon. Hana took a deep breath. There is another way, but it requires something that has never been tried before. What? Instead of answering, Hana walked to the control panel. Her hands shook as she entered her authorization codes. One by one, she began shutting down the quantum restraints. What are you doing? Do-hyun asked, his voice sharp with surprise. I'm giving you a choice, Hana said. The first real choice you've had in 47 years. Alarms began to sound as the first restraint powered down. In the observation room, Security Chief Minho started shouting orders. Emergency protocols activated, gas systems charged, weapon systems came online. But Hana continued working. A second restraint shut down. Then a third. Hana Kim, stop. Do-hyun's voice was urgent now. They will kill you for this. Maybe, she said, deactivating another restraint. But that's my choice to make. Now only one restraint remained active, the one holding Do-hyun's right arm. Hana walked to the barrier and placed her hand against the transparent metal. You have always been told that you have no choices, that you are nothing but a weapon. But that's not true, Do-hyun. Right now, in this moment, you have the most important choice of your life. Do-hyun stared at his nearly free arm. He could feel strength returning to muscles that had been bound for decades. With one restraint gone, he could reach the controls. He could free himself completely. I can release your last restraint, Hana continued. And then you will have a choice. You can kill me and die fighting. You can try to escape and probably die in the attempt, or what? Or you can choose to work with me. Not as my slave or my weapon, but as my partner. You can choose to fight the real enemy, the Void Reapers who threaten innocent lives, across the galaxy. Security teams were rushing toward the containment area. Commander Kyung's voice echoed through the speakers, demanding that Hana step away from the controls. Choose quickly, Hana said. In 30 seconds, they'll flood this area with knockout gas. Do-hyun looked at her with those burning golden eyes. If I choose to trust you, to work with you, what guarantee do I have that you will not betray me as others have? None, Hana said honestly. Just as I have no guarantee that you won't kill me the moment I free you. That's what makes it a real choice. Both of us have to decide to trust. 20 seconds. And if I choose to fight alongside you, I would be free. Truly free. Free to choose your own battles. Free to decide what's worth protecting. Free to be Do-hyun instead of just Taiho, the weapon. 10 seconds. Do-hyun closed his eyes. For a moment, Hana thought he might refuse. Then he opened them again and something had changed. The burning rage was still there, but it was controlled now. Focused. Release the final restraint, Hana Kim. 5 seconds. Hana's hand hit the control. The last quantum restraint powered down. 4. The first time in 47 years, Lione was free. Gas began flooding the chamber. Emergency lights flashed. Armed guards burst through the doors. But instead of trying to escape, Lione did something that shocked everyone watching. He knelt, not in submission, but in the ancient Lione gesture of choosing one's battle companion. His deep voice carried clearly through the chaos. I choose to stand with you, Hana of Earth, not as your weapon, but as your ally. The gas reached them both, and consciousness faded. But as darkness took her, Hana smiled. The choice had been made. Hana woke up in the medical bay 3 hours later. Her head pounded from the knockout gas, but she was alive. That was more than she had expected after freeing Lione. Dr. Jae-won, the station's medical officer, checked her pulse. You're lucky to be breathing, Dr. Kim. The entire council wants your head. Where is Lione? She asked, sitting up despite the dizziness. Restrained again. Triple security this time. Commander Kyung is furious. He's talking about court-martial. Before Hana could respond, the medical bay doors burst open. Commander Kyung stormed in, his blue face dark with anger. Behind him came diplomat Bora and security chief Minho. Dr. Kim? Commander Kyung's voice was ice-cold. You will explain your actions immediately. I was making progress with the subject, Hana said calmly. Progress? Bora's 4 eyes blazed. You nearly got yourself killed. You violated every security protocol. You freed the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. And he chose not to kill me, Hana pointed out. Doesn't that tell you something? Commander Kyung slammed his fist on the medical table. It tells me you're either incredibly lucky or incredibly stupid. The creature is scheduled for surgery in 6 hours. We're installing compliance chips whether you like it or not. You can't do that. Give me more time. Let me show you what he's capable of when he chooses to cooperate. Cooperation? Security Chief Minho shook his head. Dr. Kim, the moment we freed him, he could have torn you apart. The only reason he didn't was shock. Next time, he won't hesitate. You're wrong, Hana said firmly. He made a choice, a real choice, and he chose to trust me. Enough, Bora said. Dr. Kim, you are relieved of duty. The surgical team will begin prep work immediately. As they turned to leave, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed. Emergency announcements echoed through the corridors. All hands to battle stations. Void Reaper ships detected approaching the station. All hands to battle stations. Commander Kyung grabbed his communicator. How many ships? The reply crackled with static. 12 vessels, sir. Battlecruiser class. They'll be in weapon range in 20 minutes. Bora's silver skin turned pale. 12 ships? We only have 4 defense platforms. We can't fight that many. We need to evacuate, Security Chief Minho said. Get the important prisoners to the escape pods. What about Lione? Hana asked. The creature stays, Commander Kyung said coldly. We can't risk it escaping during the evacuation. You're going to leave him here to die? Better than letting him loose to kill more people. Hana felt sick. They were going to abandon Lione, leave him chained and helpless while the station was destroyed. After everything they had discussed about choice and freedom, he would die, as a prisoner. There is another option, she said quietly. What? Bora snapped. Let him fight. Give him the choice to defend the station. Commander Kyung laughed bitterly. Are you insane? The moment we free him, he'll kill us all. He had that chance 3 hours ago. He chose not to take it. The lights flickered as the first Void Reaper energy blasts hit the station's outer shields. The attack had begun early. They were out of time. Please, Hana begged. You've tried everything else, force, fear, control, none of it worked. Try trust. Just once. Another explosion shook the station. Somewhere in the distance, metal screamed as hull plates buckled. This is madness, Bora whispered, but Commander Kyung was looking at the tactical display. Our shields are failing. Evacuation. Will take 30 minutes. We don't have 30 minutes. So what's the alternative? Security Chief Minho asked. Hana stood up from the medical bed. Let me talk to him. Let me give him the choice. And if he chooses to let us all die, then we die, knowing we treated him like a person instead of a thing. The station shuddered, under another attack. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. Commander Kyung closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his expression had changed. 5 minutes, Dr. Kim. You have 5 minutes to convince him. They raced through the corridors toward the containment area. The station shook constantly now as Void Reaper weapons tore through the defenses. Crew members ran past carrying emergency supplies and weapons. When they reached Do Yun's cell, they found him standing calmly in the center, still chained but somehow different. His golden eyes tracked their movement with sharp intelligence. Hello, Hana Kim, he said. I wondered when you would come. Do Hyun, we need your help. I can hear the battle, he replied. Void Reapers, yes? 12 ships by the sound of their engines. Commander Kyung stared. How can you possibly know that? I have fought them before. During the last war, before your people captured me. Do Hyun's eyes fixed on Hana. You wish me to fight for you. I wish you to choose, Hana said. The station is lost without help. Everyone here will die, including me. You can choose to help us, or you can choose to let us face our fate alone. And if I choose to help, what then? Do I return to my cage? When the battle is over? Hana looked at Commander Kyung. The Vorthak warrior's face was grim, but he nodded slowly. If you help us survive this, Commander Kyung said, you will have earned your freedom. True freedom. Do Hyun was quiet for a long moment. Another explosion rocked the station, closer this time. The Void Reapers are evil, he said finally. They destroy everything they touch. They care nothing for honor or mercy. During the war, I saw them burn entire worlds just to watch them die. Then, you'll help us? Hana asked. I will help you, Hana Kim. Not because you are my captors, but because you showed me that choice still exists. Because you treated me like a person when others saw only a weapon. Commander Kyung moved to the control panel. Releasing all restraints, may the gods help us all. The quantum chains powered down one by one. As each restraint fell away, Do Hyun seemed to grow larger, more imposing. When the last chain fell, he stretched his massive arms and rolled his shoulders. It has been a long time since I felt truly free, he said. Then he looked at Hana, and his fierce expression softened slightly. Stay behind me, Hana Kim. Today you will see what a Lione warrior can do when he chooses his own battle. The containment. Door opened. Do Yun stepped out into the corridor, and for the first time in 47 years, he walked as a free being. The station shook again as another section was destroyed. But now they had something the Void Reapers didn't expect. They had a lion warrior who chose to fight not as a slave but as a protector. The real battle was about to begin. Do Hyun moved through the station corridors like liquid lightning. His massive form flowed around corners and through doorways with impossible grace. Hana struggled to keep up as they raced toward the main defense center. The Void Reapers will try to board us, Do Hyun said as they ran. Their warriors are strong, but they fight without honor. They use fear as a weapon. How do we stop them? Commander Kyung asked, breathing hard. We don't stop them. We make them choose between fighting us and completing their mission. Void Reapers hate fair fights. They reached the defense center just as the first boarding pod struck the station. The impact sent shockwaves through the metal floors. Emergency lights flickered as power systems strained. Breach in sections 7 and 12, Security Chief Minho reported. Enemy forces are moving through the corridors. Do Hyun studied the tactical display with sharp eyes. They're heading for the reactor core and the command center. Standard. Void Reaper tactics, destroy the power, capture the leaders. Can we stop them? Diplomat Bora asked. Yes, but I cannot do it alone. Do Hyun turned to Commander Kyung. I need your security teams to trust me, to follow my lead without question. Commander Kyung hesitated. 47 years of seeing Do Hyun as an enemy were hard to forget in a few minutes. Please, Hana said. Trust him like I trusted him. The Vorthak commander nodded slowly. All security teams, this is Commander Kyung. You will take orders from the Lione warrior. Follow his commands exactly. Through the communication system, they could hear the confusion in the security team's voices. But discipline won out. They confirmed their orders. Do-hyun closed his eyes for a moment, reaching out with senses that other species didn't possess. 18 Void Reapers in Section 7. 22 in Section 12. They move like a pack of hunters. How can you know that? Security Chief Minho asked. Liones can feel the emotions of others. Fear, anger, bloodlust. The Void Reapers burn with hunger for destruction. They are easy to track. Do-hyun opened his golden eyes. Hana Kim, you will coordinate from. Here, guide the security teams through the communication system. Commander Kyung, you will defend the command center. I will handle Section 7. Alone? Bora's 4 eyes widened. Against 18 enemies? I am Lion, Do-hyun said simply. 18 is not enough. He moved toward the exit, then paused. And, Hana Kim, thank you for showing me that choice still exists. Today I choose to protect instead of destroy. Then he was gone, moving through the corridors with deadly purpose. Hana watched the tactical display as Do-hyun's signal moved toward Section 7. Her heart pounded as she realized what she had unleashed. For the first time in decades, a Lione warrior was hunting with purpose. Security Team Alpha, the enemy is 3 corridors ahead of you. She spoke into the communicator. Do-hyun will drive them toward your position. Understood, Dr. Kim. We're ready. On the display, Do-hyun's signal suddenly accelerated. Then the enemy signals in Section 7 began moving frantically. What's happening? Commander Kyung asked. Before Hana could answer, screams echoed through the station's communication system. But these weren't human screams. They were the sounds of Void Reapers in terror. Impossible, Security Chief Minho whispered. Void Reapers don't feel fear. They do now, Hana said quietly. The battle in Section 7 lasted exactly 4 minutes. When it ended, only one signal remained moving. Do-hyun's voice came through the communicator, calm and controlled. Section 7 is clear, moving to assist with Section 12. But the Void Reapers in Section 12 had heard their comrades' screams. Instead of continuing toward the reactor, they began retreating toward their boarding pods. They're running, Commander Kyung said in amazement. Void Reapers never run, Bora added. They do when they face something that hunts better than they do, Hana replied. Do-hyun's voice came through the comm again. Hana Kim, the boarders are fleeing, but their ships are still attacking the station. The shields won't hold much longer. What do we do about the ships? She asked. I need to reach the docking bay. There should be small fighter craft there. Security Chief Minho shook his head. The fighters are designed for humans. You're too large. Then I will make them fit. 20 minutes later, Hana watched from the command center as something impossible happened. A modified fighter craft launched from the station's docking bay. Do-hyun had torn out the pilot's seat and most of the internal systems to make room for his massive frame. This shouldn't work, the flight control officer said. He's flying by instinct alone. But it was working. The small fighter moved through space with the same deadly grace that Do-hyun showed on foot. It danced between enemy fire, striking at the Void Reaper ships with surgical precision. How is he doing that? Commander Kyung asked. Liones don't just sense emotions, Hana realized. They can sense intention. He knows what the enemy pilots are going to do before they do it. One by one, the Void Reaper ships fell. Some tried to flee, but Do-hyun was faster. In 30 minutes, all 12 enemy vessels were either destroyed or retreating into deep space. When Do-hyun's fighter returned to the docking bay, he was met by the entire station crew. They stood in silence as he climbed out of the damaged craft. His golden fur was singed, and one arm hung at an odd angle, but his eyes still burned with that inner fire. It is done, he said simply. Commander Kyung stepped forward. Doyun of the Lione people, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I thank you. Your actions today saved hundreds of lives. I did not fight for the Council, Doyun replied. He looked at Hana. I fought because someone showed me I could choose my own battles. 6 months later, Hana stood in the new council chambers on the peaceful world of Kepler 438b. The war with the Void Reapers was ending. Their forces were retreating across the galaxy, no longer willing to face opponents who fought with purpose instead of just duty. Beside her stood Do-hyun, no longer in chains, but wearing the blue robes of a council ambassador. He was the first Lion to ever hold such a position. The council recognizes Ambassador Do-hyun, the speaker announced. Do-hyun rose to his full height. Honored members, I bring news from the Outer Rim. 3 more worlds have agreed to join our alliance, not through conquest or threat, but through choice. As he spoke, Hana smiled. The galaxy was changing. Species that had been enemies were becoming allies. Worlds that had known only war were learning about peace. All because one human had chosen to offer choice instead of force. After the session, Do-hyun found Hana in the gardens outside the council building. I have received word from the deep exploration teams, he said. They have found others. Survivors of species we thought extinct. The Lionese will not be alone much longer. That's wonderful news, Hana said. There is something else. The council has approved my request. I will be leading a new mission to make contact with these survivors, to offer them what you offered me. A choice? Yes. The choice to join our alliance as equals, not as subjects. Do-hyun's fierce expression softened. I have learned much from humans, Hana Kim. But the greatest lesson was this. True strength comes not from forcing others to obey, but from giving them reasons to stand beside you. As they walked through the garden, Hana reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy was still dangerous, still full of conflicts and challenges. But now there was something new. Hope. Hope that enemies could become allies. Hope that the strong could choose to protect the weak. Hope that everyone deserved the chance to choose their own path. The untamable had been tamed, not through force or fear, but through the simple recognition that every being deserved the right to choose. And sometimes, that choice could change everything.